Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to completely shift how you look at your daily workflow. We're diving into Alibaba's new AI model, Qwen 3.7 Max, and we're going to show exactly how artificial intelligence is transforming right before our eyes. We are officially moving away from the era of the fragile, easily distracted chatbot and entering the age of the tireless 24/7 coworker for your business. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list lately, this is exactly what you need to hear.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The 35-hour AI worker. 2. Chatbots versus tireless agents. 3. Automating your customer support. 4. A step-by-step automation plan. And finally, number 5, the real AI advantage. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The 35-hour AI worker. A new era of endurance. So Alibaba recently pulled off this massive, unprecedented feat that completely changes how we should be thinking about AI moving forward. They handed this AI a brutally hard job. They threw it onto a brand new computer chip that it had literally never seen before. There was no manual, no instructions, no examples. The prompt was just, here's the chip, make the software run faster. And guys, it ran for 35 straight hours, completely unsupervised. In that time, it made 1,158 separate moves. It ran code, tested it, found its own bugs, and fixed them over and over again. And the result? The software ended up running 10 times faster than the standard version, all by itself. To put that into perspective, when they tested other top AIs on that exact same job, the next best model only hit a 7 times speedup.
But let's bring this staggering endurance back to your daily reality as a business owner. I mean, think about your own day. How many tasks do you start, but you just never finish because you constantly get pulled away? How many half-baked projects are sitting on your to-do list right now? The real magic of what happened in that lab isn't just about computer chips. It's about having a worker that literally never gets distracted by a random phone call or some urgent email.
Section 2. Chatbots versus tireless agents. The tech behind the stamina.
To really get how this helps you, we gotta look at how the technology itself has shifted. Think about old AI models from even just a year ago. They were like really smart helpers, but they needed you sitting right next to them. You ask a question, it answers. Ask another, it answers. You were essentially the boss standing over its shoulder, and the second you walked away, it stopped working. It tapped out after maybe an hour. But with Qwen 3.7 Max, we are moving away from a search box that needs constant handholding. Now we're dealing with a delegated, tireless agent that can hold a long job in its head, solve problems across different tools, and literally operate while you sleep.
Now you might be wondering how it can suddenly do this. It all comes down to something called the context window. Think of this as the AI's short-term memory. Older versions could only remember a tiny bit at a time, but this new model, it's capable of holding about 1 million words in its memory all at once. That is a massive memory leap. It's exactly why this AI doesn't forget what it was doing 2 hours into a long job. It remembers the whole story. Plus, Alibaba trained this AI by throwing it into all kinds of different jobs and tools, so it actually learned how to solve problems anywhere, rather than just memorizing the tricks of one single application. It's not fragile, and it isn't stuck in one little box.
Section 3. Automating your customer support. From chips to your inbox.
Let's pivot directly to your business and look at how this handles the heavy lifting on a daily basis. Say you run a community for business owners, and every week you get a bunch of new people joining. In the old days, you'd write each welcome message by hand, or you'd have to hire someone to do it. Not anymore. Instead of writing every message manually, you can just drop this model into your customer messages. You literally tell it, hey, go through this week's new members, write each one a personal welcome, point them to the right first steps, and flag anyone who seems stuck. And it just handles all of those repetitive tasks overnight. You can even point it at a giant, messy list of customer questions from the past year and tell it to group them into a clear, helpful guide. Because of that million-word memory, it can read all those scattered questions and write the whole guide in one go. It's wild.
But look, I want to be completely straight with you. There are limitations, and we need to talk about them. First up, you're renting, not owning. Unlike older models you could run locally on your own computer, this one has to be used through Alibaba's service. Second, it's very wordy. While it is cheap per word, like 1/6 of the price of some competitors, it uses a lot of words to get to the answer, so those costs can actually sneak up on you during a long job. And third, on tests of just plain facts, it actually gets fewer questions right than older versions. But there's a huge flip side here. It makes up way less nonsense. Instead of confidently guessing and hallucinating garbage, it just says, I don't know, a lot more often. And honestly, in a business setting, that is so much safer.
Section 4. Step-by-step automation plan.
reclaiming your time today.
If you're sitting there right now feeling a little knot in your stomach, maybe worrying that you're falling behind because you still do everything by hand, just take a breath. You absolutely do not need to be a coder to start getting your time back right now. You don't need to understand how the computer chip works, you just need to know how to use this as a tool. So here is a super simple 3-step plan you can use today. Step 1. Pick one repetitive task you absolutely hate. You know the one, it eats up your week, you keep putting it off. Step 2. Point the agent at your data, your spreadsheets, or your emails. Step 3. Walk away. Let it work. If you shift your mindset to view AI as a worker you hand jobs to, rather than a chatbot you just ask questions to, it'll completely change how you run your day. Just see how far the agent gets while you step away.
Section 5. The real AI advantage. Endurance beats raw smarts.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the real story unfolding in the tech world and why this is so vital for your bottom line. For years, the only question anyone asked about AI was, how smart is it? Who has the biggest brain? And yes, Qwen 3.7 Max is actually the #2 coding AI in the world right now, right behind Claude, so it is incredibly smart. But that's no longer the most important question. The real question is, how long can it grind through a messy job without me? Think about it. A genius who quits after 5 minutes is practically useless to your business. A regular worker who shows up and grinds through the whole job, they actually get things done. Endurance beats raw smarts. And because of that endurance, work that used to take your entire team a week is starting to fit into a single afternoon.
This profound insight perfectly summarizes the new business landscape. The gap isn't going to be between people who can code and people who can't. The gap is going to be between people who learn to use these agents and people who kept doing everything by hand. If you're a solo business owner, you obviously can't go out and hire 10 people today. But you can, for sure, learn to point one of these tireless agents at the jobs eating up your week. The divide in the business world is shifting, and the ultimate leverage is treating this technology as a dedicated team member.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to literally look at your own to-do list. The pace of this technology is not slowing down anytime soon, it is only speeding up. So ask yourself, do you want to be in the group that gets their evenings and weekends back, or do you want to keep drowning in manual work? Which group will you be in tomorrow? Start with just one task this week and watch how it transforms your business. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.